in his childhood. So bhakti can be practiced from any stage. We see the likes of Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. Also we see Narad Muni. From his very early age, he started to serve, and it is mentioned that he developed all the good qualities. He was self-controlled, he was disciplined, he was fully obedient, and he was not naughty. He had no taste for sense gratification or playing like the children do. And also, while serving, he took permission from those pure devotees, and he had the opportunity to honor their remnants. It is remnant of a pure devotee is called mahā-mate. When Krishna accepts that we offer, what is offered to Krishna is called as bhoga. Because Krishna is the enjoyer. Krishna says, bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Yat karoshi yat ashnashi yat juhusi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya gurusva matarpanam. So Krishna says, whatever you eat, you offer it to me. So what we offer, it is called bhoga. It is not called prasad. So don't say, I am taking it for offering, it is prasad. After it is offered, when Krishna has accepted it or Krishna has tasted it, then it becomes prasad. Bhoga becomes prasad. But that prasad is further offered, accepted by a pure devotee or an advanced devotee, it becomes mahaprasad. So don't get confused to what is bhog, what is prasad, what is mahaprasad. And mahaprasad is that once the devotee has honored, and after that some other devotee has honored, and if someone is even more fortunate that the series continues, then it is called mahaprasad. So Narad Muni got the opportunity to honor the mahaprasad. That was already offered to the Lord, and after being offered to the Lord, it was offered to the Bhakti Vedantas, and he received it. And what was the effect? Very important in the last verse. What was the effect? Tad dharma evatma ruci prajayate. So he became purified in the heart by accepting the remnants. And at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. That means he was infected. What was the infection? He had the same infection, that the infection was there in the heart of these devotees. What was the infection? The infection was attraction towards the Lord. So you see, this is contagious. On our own, we cannot develop attraction to the Lord. It is only possible when those who have it and they bestow it to us. So we will go further. The next verse, today's verse, 26th verse. So after receiving this infection, after receiving this taste, ruchi came. Evatmana ruchi. You remember the verse? Śraddhayā sva-katha kṛṣṇa, punya shravanam kirtanam. Where is the word ruchi coming there? Who remembers the verse? Anyone remembers? What stage is ruchi? Where? So ruchi means he has developed that transcendental taste. Or rather, he has become distasteful, for which is not in connection with the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada says that one can have steadiness, one can have perfect taste, and one can have transcendental emotions, and at last one can be situated on the plane of loving service of the Lord. All these stages, so you see the progression that we have, adau, shraddha, tadā, sadhu sang, then what we have, bhajan kriya, and then anartha vritti, And then what we have? We have ruci, taste. And then there is asakti, attachment. And before that attachment, there is nishtha. Nishtha and then ruci and then asakti. So all these stages develop by the association of pure devotees, and that is the purport of this stanza. So further, how this progression happened in the life of Sri Narad Muni is revealing tatrānvahaṁ kṛṣṇa-kathāḥ pragāyatām anugraheṇāśṛṇavaṁ manoharāḥ śraddhayā nupadaṁ viśṛṇvataḥ priyaśravasy aṅga mamābhavad ruciḥ. So what was the result of that taste? How that taste took progress for him? That tatra aham kṛṣṇa-kathāḥ pragāyatām. So he developed taste to hear Krishna Katha. It's not easy, you see, how scientific it is. Not anyone and everyone can hear Krishna Katha. Who can hear Krishna Katha? Who has ruci. Without ruci, how can he hear Krishna Katha? Like if you have somebody has to eat, there may be, on the platter, so many palatable dishes. But unless and until he has the appetite, he cannot eat. So similarly, unless and until one has developed ruci, he cannot hear Krishna Katha. And how ruci is developed, that is revealed in this section. Is by serving the devotees and receiving his mercy. So this ruci comes. And through ruci, one becomes attentive, one becomes interested in hearing, not otherwise. O Vyāsadeva, in that association by the mercy of the great Vedāntists, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So both. He had attraction for the devotees, and in the association by hearing, he developed attraction for Krishna. And thus I listened attentively. Tat śraddhayā. Also how he was listening with faith. Śraddhayā, respect, Prabhupada is saying. Of course, respect will come because of having faith. And viśṛṇvataḥ. Viśṛṇvataḥ means that he was hearing very attentively. And whom he was hearing? Very beautiful word for the Supreme Lord. One of the very sweet words used here is priyaśravasy. Unless and until Krishna is priya to us, why we will do Shravan for him? So priyaśravasy. That which is most dear. The personality of Godhead. Aṅga mamābhavad ruciḥ. My taste for hearing the personality of Godhead increased at every step. Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is attractive not only in his personal features, but also in his transcendental activities. Feature is rupam and activities is Krishna's form is very attractive, but his activities are also very attractive. Form is rupam and activities are Bolo. Yes, Sonika?
Prabhuji, Leelas.
Yeah. So Krishna has 4 very transcendental qualities. What are the 4 transcendental qualities which Krishna has, which is not manifest by any other incarnation? Is the Roop Madhurya, the sweetness of his form. And what is the other one? Is the Lula Madhurya. And of course, there are 2 more. Ganesh, what are the 2 other transcendental qualities of Krishna?
Venu Madhurya.
Very good. Venu Madhurya. Pranav, what is the 4th one?
Sorry, Prabhuji, I forget.
This, come on. You people give me so much of heartaches. Huh? How can you forget Krishna's quality? Pradeep?
Prema Madhuri.
Prema Madhurya. Prema. This is what is missing in the heart. So you will forget. So Narad Muni developed so much of ruchi, taste, attraction, attachment for Krishna. How? By being in association of this advanced transcendentalist and hearing. It is so because the Absolute is absolute by his name, form, which is frame, form, pastime, entourage, paraphernalia, etc. Naam, Roop, Gun, Leela, and Dham. The Lord descends to this material world out of his causeless mercy and displays his various transcendental pastimes as a human being, so that human beings attracted towards him become able to go back to Godhead. So many times we have discussed why the Lord appears. The Lord appears to attract the attention and the heart of the conditioned souls, those who are entrapped by the illusionary energy. So somehow if we get attraction for Krishna, then our release from the entanglement of illusionary energy is certain. But those who are not having to develop attachment for Krishna, then they will remain within the entanglement of the illusionary energy. Men are naturally apt to hear histories and narrations of various personalities performing mundane activities, without knowing that by such association one simply wastes valuable time and also becomes addicted to the three qualities of mundane nature. So men are not aware that not just by hearing anything or everything one will get the same result. By hearing something which is not related to Krishna, which is not on the spiritual platform, so Prabhupada is saying one will remain within the influence of the three qualities, will become addicted to the three qualities of mundane nature. What are the three qualities of mundane nature? What are the three qualities of mundane nature? Priyanka? Simple, very simple, basic.
They have cheating.
मैं सुना नहीं, जोर से बोलिए.
They have cheating propensities.
No, three basic mundane qualities, Baba. Yes, there, Shilpro.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Yeah, simple. Mundane, this is mundane, simple. Material nature, how does it material nature work? By the three basic qualities, the three ropes. Huh? Tamogun, Rajogun, and even Sattvagun. They are all binding ropes. They will bind the living entity to remain in this material world. And Krishna comes to release them, to free them, so that they can become attracted towards him and become able to go back to Godhead. Instead of wasting time, one can get spiritual success by turning his attention to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. By hearing the narrations of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead, as explained before. A very powerful statement. By hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of the Godhead, as it is explained before. Where it was explained before? What it means? What this sentence means? By hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead. So there is no difference between the Supreme Lord and the transcendental subject matter about him. They are on the same platform. They are on the transcendental platform. They are on the absolute platform. There is no difference. Where what is explained? Anyone remembers which verse it is explained? The Prabhupada is saying it is explained in before. Yes, Sonika?
Prabhuji, it was explained in 1.2, Prabhuji. 1.1.2.
1.1.2. 1.1.2 is what?
Prabhuji, dharma projit kato atra nirmatsaranam shatam.
Hmm.
Prabhuji, in that verse, it was explained that if someone is reading, going through this Bhagavatam, there is no need to read another any other scripture.
Yes.
And if one will read it or hear it with whole faith, then Lord, the Supreme Lord Himself reside in his heart.
It is not in this verse. What you are saying is right, that there is no need, because it says that it was compiled in the maturity by Srila Vyāsadeva. And there is no need. But there is some other verse where it is very clearly explained. If someone remembers that verse, then you find out. It is homework. I will not deliberate more. But the point here is that there is no difference. How? Because it is the transcendental energy that we connect with the transcendence. But the Lord is supremely transcendental, and his name, fame, form, pastime, entourage, paraphernalia, his associates, they are also transcendental. So whoever connects with them in any form, he also becomes transcendental. By hearing the narration of the pastime of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead, as I explained before. And when one hears about the personality of Godhead, all accumulated sins of the mundane creatures are cleared from within. Thus, being cleared of the sin, the hearer gradually becomes liberated from mundane association and becomes attracted to the features of the Lord. Very important. Prabhupada is revealing so much. When we will have attraction for the Lord? Who can have attraction for the Lord? For hearing his pastime. What is the principle here? Krishna explains that in Bhagavad Gita also. Krishna has explained that in Bhagavad Gita. How one can come to this stage of always having attraction for Krishna, or always having interest to hear about Krishna? When that stage will appear, or how that stage appears? Yes, Dayashil Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yesam tu antagatam papam janana punya karmana tedvandham moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavata.
Yes, perfect answer. 7.28. One whose papam is finished. Yesham tu antagatam papam. We're not having taste, that means what? There is some desire, or some way or the other, some papam is there, or some proclivity is there. Because till the time one commits sins and offenses, he cannot have attraction for the Supreme Lord. It will just not manifest. And Krishna explains beautifully, Bhagavatam explains, śraddhayā sva-katha Krishna, punya shravanam kirtanam, hridayantasto hi abhadrani, vidhunoti suhitsatam, nashprayeshu abhadreshu, nityam bhagavat sevaya, bhagavati uttama shloke, bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Then tadā rajastamo bhava kamalobhadayascha chetanevadi anavrittim sthitam sattvam prasidati. So he is released from the influence of all the lower modes. And then evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavati tat vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Exactly this is the, you see. Now you read the translation and see. It is exactly the same. Prabhupada is quoting this verse. That when one hears about the personality of Godhead, all accumulated sins of the mundane creature are cleared from within. What is it? Nasht prayeshu abhadreshu. And thus, being cleared of all the sins, the hearer gradually becomes liberated from mundane association. What is this? Mukta sangasya jayate. He is liberated from mukta sangasya jayate. Sangha means what? Association. From which he is mukta from where? Liberated from all the mundane or material association. And becomes attracted to the features of the Lord. Then, so this is only possible. See the potency of hearing and hearing from the right source, from the bona fide source, how it works. This is what made Narad Muni become what he is. Narad Muni has eternal life, that is Sat, unlimited knowledge, that is Chit, and unfathomed bliss, which is Ananda. So Narad Muni came to his Swarupa of Satchidananda. And also he can travel all over the material and spiritual world. He is the international spaceman. He can travel freely. He does not require any visa or any passport or any ticket. He is free to travel. He can travel all over the material and spiritual world without restriction. One can attain to the highest perfection of life simply by attentive hearing. See, Prabhupada's very profound. One can attain the highest perfection of life simply by attentive hearing of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the right sources. As Sri Narada heard them from the pure devotees, Bhakti Vedantas in his previous life. This process of hearing in the association of devotee is specially recommended in this age of quarrel, Kali, Shravana. Tasmiṁs tadā labdha-rucer mahā-mate priyaśravasy askhalitā matir yayāham etat sad-asat sva-māyayā paśye mayi brahmaṇi kalpitaṁ pare. So after receiving the test and after hearing attentively, what was the result? Oh great sage! As soon as I got the taste for the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. So his faith has become fixed. It is unflinching. It does not depend on the situation. It does not depend on the circumstances. It was unflinching. In any case, it will remain the same. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings. So what is gross and subtle coverings? For both the Lord and I are transcendental. So this is realization. He became spiritually realized. He was able to realize his eternal identity. Ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness. And in all Vedic literature, the personality of Godhead is compared to the sun. Prabhupada gave this slogan. What is the slogan? सुन रहे हैं ना जो हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं अभी बता रहे हैं कैसे पढ़ना है कैसे सुनना है with full attention. प्रभुपाद जी बोल रहे हैं जो परपोर्ट में प्रभुपाद जी ने इसका स्लोगन दिया वो स्लोगन आज भी जारी है। सुन रहे हो नहीं सुन रहे हो? क्या है वो स्लोगन? बताइए क्या बताए। पढ़ो क्या लिखा है। पहले सेंटेंस में प्रभुपाद जी क्या बोल रहे हैं? Ignorance in material existence is compared to darkness, and in all Vedic literature, the personality of Godhead is compared to the sun. Very simple. हमारी बैक टू गॉडहेड का स्लोगन है, कृष्ण सूर्य सम, माया है अंधकार। समझ में आ रहा है नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? इतना सरल है, स्पष्ट है। जहां कृष्ण तहां माया, तहां नहीं माया का अधिकार। ओके 27th. Hearing of the Lord pastime is itself transcendental association with the Lord, because there is no difference between the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. To become associated with the supreme light is to dissipate all ignorance. By ignorance only, the conditioned soul wrongly thinks that both he and the Lord are the products of material nature. ऐसा कौन सोचता है? That the conditioned soul, both he and the Lord are products of material nature. Which class of people they think that both are of material nature? आधे लोग सुबह आके क्लास सुन के गए थे, सब कुछ खाली हो गया। बोलो गोपाल, कुछ तो स्ट्राइक करेगा। बोलिए, बोलो, अनम्यूट करके बोलो, आपने हाथ उठाया।
मायावादी प्रभु जी।
हाँ, मायावादी, मायावादी। सुबह इतना बढ़िया समझा रहे थे विजित कृष्ण को। But in fact, the personality of God and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with the material nature. Both are spiritual. Both are supra-mundane. Both are spiritual. But in fact, the personality of God and the living beings are transcendental, and they have nothing to do with this material nature. When ignorance is removed, it is perfectly realized that there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead. Then nescience is removed. What is this verse? That there is nothing existing without the personality of Godhead. Then nescience is removed. The श्लोक है भगवद गीता में, very popular श्लोक. If you can catch, बोलो। आप लोग तो ऐसे शांत है, ऐसे मैं बिल्कुल अननोन थिंग पहली बार डिस्कस करता हूँ। इसको कितनी बार, हजारों बार कवर हो चुके हैं। मैं नहीं बताऊंगा, आप लोग को अगर पकड़ में आता है तो ठीक है, नहीं पकड़ में आता तो ढूंढिए। Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord. The gross body should be engaged in acts of rendering service to the Lord, as in bringing water, cleaning the temple, or making obeisances, etc. The sharir ka. The path of archan or worshipping the Lord in the temple involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. Similarly, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. दोनों पर्पस में प्रभुपाद कितना हैमर कर रहे हैं, यदि माइंड शुड बी एंगेज इन हियरिंग। कल भी हम यही चर्चा कर रहे थे, व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी हैव टू मेक द माइंड एसोसिएट। विदाउट द पार्टिसिपेशन और एसोसिएशन ऑफ द माइंड, नथिंग विल चेंज। Similarly, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting His name, etc. All such activities are possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in the devotional service. Very beautiful word Prabhupada is using. Apprenticeship. You know what is apprenticeship? What is apprenticeship? जानते नहीं जानते हैं अप्रेंटिस? मनी प्रोफेशन में बिना अप्रेंटिस बने आपको कुछ पता मिलेगा नहीं। बोलिए गोपाल, क्या है अप्रेंटिस?
तो जैसे कोई कार्य करना होता है, जैसे सीए के अंडर में अप्रेंटिसशिप रखा जाता है, यानी कोई सीए परस्यू करना चाहता है तो उसके अंडर में उसको गाइडेंस के लिए कुछ टाइम के लिए दिया जाता है कि वो उसके साथ लग के
कितने साल रहता है सीए को? अप्रेंटिस कितने साल करना पड़ता है?
1 साल की करनी पड़ती है अप्रेंटिसशिप।
नहीं, ज्यादा है, ज्यादा है। जो प्रैक्टिसिंग पर्सन है, जो एक्सपर्ट पर्सन है, उसको क्या बनना पड़ता है?
तो कुछ मेहनताना भी देते हैं थोड़ा थोड़ा वो, उसके
उसका
अंडर गाइडेंस
उसकी
असिस्टेंट के
सैलरी
तौर पे
अगर
काम
10,000 होनी चाहिए तो कितनी देते हैं?
तो 2-3 हज़ार भी देते हैं।
हाँ, और वो काम कितना करता है? अब देखिए, जो अप्रेंटिस है उसकी तनख्वाह एम्प्लॉय से आधी भी नहीं होती है,
आधी भी नहीं होती है। हाँ।
और वो काम कितना करता है?
काम करता है उससे ज्यादा,
उससे ज्यादा काम करता है।
क्योंकि उसको सीखने की जिज्ञासा होती है वो उस काम कर।
हाँ, उसका स्वार्थ होता है ना, स्वार्थ। आपने जूनियर डॉक्टर्स को देखा है? हाँ, मैं कभी कई बार एम्स में गया हूँ, तो जब जो मेन एक्सपर्ट डॉक्टर आते हैं, कंसल्टेंट आते हैं, उनके साथ उनके इतने सारे स्टूडेंट्स भी आते हैं, उनको
स्टूडेंट्स
घेरे
आते
रखते हैं, हर समय घेरे रखते हैं, वो उनसे बहुत सारे काम कराते हैं। अरे, आप लोग को भी एक्सपीरियंस है, आप लोग जब थीसिस करते हैं, तो आपके जो गाइड हैं वो आपसे क्या क्या कराते हैं? हाँ, अपने घर का काम भी कराते हैं, और सब नाच नाच के करते हैं, कुछ भी करते हैं।
कुछ भी करते हैं,
हाँ, क्योंकि पता है नहीं तो उसके बिना
मार्क्स नहीं
पीएचडी
मिलेंगे।
होगी नहीं, पीएचडी होगी नहीं, डिग्री
जी।
मिलेगी नहीं। तो प्रभुपाद जी लिख रहे हैं, सच रियलाइजेशन ऑफ ट्रांसेंडेंटल प्रैक्टिस इज मेड पॉसिबल बाय मेनी मेनी इयर्स ऑफ अप्रेंटिसशिप इन डिवोशनल सर्विस। इतना चीप नहीं है जितना हम समझ रहे हैं। बहुनाम जन्मनाम अन्ते ज्ञानवान माम प्रपद्यते, but simple attraction of love for the personality of Godhead, as it was developed in Narad Muni by hearing, is highly effective. देखिए, प्रभुपाद जी फिर उसको एम्फसाइज कर रहे हैं कि आपको मेनी मेनी इयर्स की अप्रेंटिसशिप करनी होगी, और लेकिन आपने केवल ये एक कार्य सही से कर लिया। वो क्या क्या है? हियरिंग इज इफेक्टिव, हाईली इफेक्टिव। I'll take one more verse. इत्थं शरद प्रवर्षिका ऋतु हरे विश्रन्वतो मे अनुसवम यशो अमलम संकीर्त्यमानं मुनिभिर्महात्मभिः भक्ति प्रवर्तम तत् भक्ति प्रवृत्त आत्मरजस्तमोपः। Thus during 2 seasons, the rainy season and autumn, each season is for how many months? Each ritu, how many months? Each season is for how many months or how many days? ये भी नहीं बोलोगे क्या? बताइए, आप लोगों ने मौन व्रत का धारण किया है? यस रविंद्र प्रो।
2 months is Prabhuji, 6
Ah,
seasons.
yeah, 6 seasons and 2 months each. Very good. So for 2 seasons means how many months?
4 months.
That is Chaturmasya month. So for 4 months, the Chaturmasya. 2 seasons during the rainy and autumn. That is Chaturmasya. I had the opportunity to hear these great souls, sages, constantly chant the unadulterated glories of Lord Hari. And as the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Transcendental loving service for the Supreme Lord is the natural inclination of every living being in its pure stage. Like iron is naturally attracted to magnet, but only when it is not rusted. The instinct is dormant in everyone, but due to the association of material nature, the modes of passion and ignorance have covered the instinct from time immemorial. If by the grace of the Lord and the great soul devotees of the Lord, a living being becomes fortunate enough to associate with the unadulterated devotees of the Lord, and thus gets a chance to hear the unadulterated glories of the Lord, certainly the dormant instinct of devotional service is at once awakened, and the flow of devotional service takes place like the flow of a river. As the river flows on till she reaches the sea, similarly the pure devotional service flows by the association of pure devotee till it reaches the ultimate goal, namely the transcendental love of God. Such a flow of devotional service cannot stop. On the contrary, it increases more and more without limitation. The flow of devotional service is so potent that any onlooker, Prabhupada ji ke words dekhiye, or who is not engaged, but who is only seeing it from a distance, only onlooker, also becomes liberated from the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. These two qualities of nature are thus removed, and the living being is liberated, being situated in his original position. So I'll stop here. So Narad Muni is giving his own stages of elevation, that how he has progressed and come to this stage of possessing Bhakti Shakti. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. कोई question है तो पूछिए. कोई question, any contribution, any discussion? It must be there. I am saying there is no one asking any genuine question or any discussion. So it will remain in the book. It will not penetrate in the heart. Okay. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.